It's time for Where You Live with Gene and Tony, the show that's all about owning, buying, selling, renting, and association management. If it involves a home, we'll talk about it. Here's your chance to get your homeowner questions answered. From the Concierge Landscape Studios, here's Gene and Tony.
Needed the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. Needed someone to understand.
Good morning and welcome once again to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. I'm Gene Sullivan.
And I'm Tony Crockett. What have we got going on today, Gene?
We've got a lot. Some of the topics and news stories we're going to follow today. The first one we've entitled The Few, the Proud, the Indignant. That's right. It's about a homeowner who's in dispute with the HOA over a display of a military flag. And we're going to take a look at a revisit of the news story we talked about last week with the Lakewood residents that were launching that assistance group. You remember that,
Okay,
Tony?
yep, the volunteers to help neighbors.
Yeah, we've got we have the founder of that organization who's going to be on the phone with us to
Great.
tell us a little bit about how things are going. And then we're also going to talk about the importance of properly filling out those resale disclosure documents before you turn over information to a potential buyer, because in this case it means big trouble for one homeowner association because they did not include some very important items and now are being sued. So we're going to talk about that and so much more. But we also want to hear from you today, too.
Yeah, give us a call, 651-289-4488. Let us know what's on your mind.
And with that, let's begin with property management in the news. Property management in the news is brought to you by Pest Control Services. When you need to get rid of unwanted pests in your home or rental property, you want to call someone who's responsive, professional, and a proud member of Angie's List. Give owner Greg Keener a call, 952-894-9748. That's Pest Control Services. And I think if we're all set, Bill, go ahead and run the tape.
New at 5, a military flag fight has a Milton family at odds with its homeowners association. They live in the Avonsong community off Deerfield Parkway. Channel 2's Mike Pachenik reports the HOA is threatening fines for the way the family has chosen to honor their Marine son.
We're very proud of him for his decision to enter the Marines and what he's doing now.
To honor their son Brendan's service to country, John and Rosanna Klein draped this Marine flag in the front window of their Milton home.
A week after we put it up, we got a notice in the mail from the HOA
notifying them they were violating subdivision policy by hanging what the letter referred to as a towel in the window, demanding they remove it immediately.
I'm not quite sure how you mistake any military flag for a towel.
When Klein set the HOA straight, he says the association told him he was disrespecting the flag by hanging it in the window.
Unless you've been what we've been through, you don't have a lot of latitude to accuse us of something like that.
The HOA's president lives here across the street. He's out of town and wasn't available to meet us in person, but Alan Tart sent Channel 2 a statement saying, quote, the HOA made it very clear to Mr. Klein that it had no problem with him displaying the flag. The HOA is grateful for Mr. Klein's son and his service to our country. Goes on to say the HOA only asked Mr. Klein to please display the U.S. Marine Corps flag in the same respectful manner required under the American Flag Code for the national flag, not hung as drapery. If the Kleins don't take down the flag, they'll face a fine of $25 a day for every day it's up. They tell me they'll likely take it down because they'd rather spend that money to go visit their son. Reporting from Milton in North Fulton County, I'm Mike Pachenik, Channel 2 Action News.
Wow, Tony, your initial thoughts on this?
Well, this is not an uncommon issue. Flying flags, American flags, state flags, military flags, even, say, organizations. If you're a member of a certain organization, homeowners want to show their colors. And certainly military flags are very important and an important honor to those who are serving us.
Yeah.
I think the Homeowners Association reacted appropriately and spoke to Mr. Klein appropriately. What do you think?
I do too, most definitely. I think this is an honest mistake, and it almost, to me, seems like the news reporter here was trying to stir up a little bit more than what it actually was. When you talk about someone hanging something from the inside of the window and draped, and someone's not peering their head right up into the window.
So apparently no one walked right up to the client's window and looked through to see what this thing was, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, but from a distance, when you just see color in there, is it a natural mistake that someone would say, you know what, there's a towel being hung up as a drape?
And maybe people don't realize this, but in property management, we're very aware of this. People use all kinds of weird stuff to cover their windows. I mean, sheets and blankets and Confederate flags and towels. It's an issue we deal with a lot. So perhaps as an individual homeowner, you don't understand that. You don't realize that people notice that and that management is going to want to address that.
Yeah, and you know what? In most cases, too, I mean, this is a type of rule where I think a majority of all homeowners always say that that's fine. They agree with it.
Right.
They don't want just various and sundry things hanging
right.
from the inside looking as drapery because they don't think it looks aesthetically as nice.
That's right.
And so the association made that rule. They ended up making a mistake.
Because it wasn't a towel,
right,
is what you're saying. All right.
Yes. And what I found a little bit surprising was I thought the homeowner was probably a little bit indignant. I mean, it's true. I don't at this point have anybody that's a family member that's in the service or overseas. If so, yes, I would be very proud of them and anything that they're doing. But that's not. But I don't think anything that the association's doing here is taking away from that.
Not at all. Not at all. The association wants to make sure the flag is displayed appropriately. If Mr. Klein thinks it is displayed appropriately, the association said, please provide us with documentation showing us that. And what the news reporter didn't say that the news article says in writing is that the association backed down from the fine, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
So
now let's weigh the character of both people in this situation. The association thought it was a towel. Upon finding out that it wasn't, they basically said sorry. They said we're appreciative of your son and his service. We're proud of that, and we want to encourage you to proudly display it like you would the United States flag, and all would be fine. Instead, the homeowner says they want to continue to hang it on the inside of the window, and for the homeowner association to even try and ask them to move it, he gets indignant and says they have no right because they don't have a son that's in the military, they don't have the credibility to speak.
There's a third entity involved in the story, though, and that's the news media.
Yeah,
and I think they're the most dangerous entity in any story because they love to stir up controversy and they love to cause that tempest in a teapot in order to make a better story.
Yeah. I hope here in the end that the family proudly displays it on a flagpole outside, and the association would be 100% in agreement. The association said they're not going to fine. Good for them. We are not talking about someone that's
extremely reasonable.
Isn't that the case? Yeah.
Yes.
And that's the way I think it is in a majority of homeowner associations.
Yep, I agree. Certainly the majority that I've been involved with.
And that's the real news story. And that is property management in the news. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'd love to hear from you, 651-289-4488. And we're going to get on the phone the fellow that is starting up the Lakewood Residents Assistance Group to help people in being able to comply with violations and maintenance needed around their home in an HOA. We'll be back after this.